Angry guy here, and Asian women are now hoarding Western men because modern women have nothing to offer them. Asian women are now hoarding Western men because modern women have nothing to offer them. So, guys, I've been reading a lot of comments from Mayumi recently. Let's just go ahead and check out this comment that she left recently because I found it pretty interesting. So she said, my husband always turns young post high school boys to do a few years in the US military or abroad to embrace the world. Now, years later, after those young men did military service, they come back to my husband and join his security firm as level 2 security or armed level 3 security guards. My husband also goes on base and finds ex-military men with families seeking employment after their time in the military. Interestingly enough, the women within his security company are not ex-military American. My husband offered but was not accepted by ex-military women. Instead, I noticed a few Japanese women within his company who served the JSDF, married to those US military men who were stationed there. Also found Filipinas who were ex-military, Israeli, South African, Korean, Latina, and German. Most of these women are spouses but have military experience, not just spouses to US servicemen. The USA is changing and demographics are going to be my sisters and respectful women. I honestly can't wait to see the changing image of the USA for the better. Guys, this is not a game. Now, I share her comments with you, but I want y'all to understand that this is just one of many. She's just one of many Asian women and foreign women that are ambitious. These women are ambitious. What do I mean by ambitious? Just like when you say a young man is ambitious, you have to be careful with them. These Asian women are ambitious, and American women need to be careful. But unfortunately, American women are so busy on the streets, so busy with Chad and Tyrone, so busy trying to be boss babes, that they don't realize that a country without its men is not a country, it's a wasteland. They kept on pushing and pushing and pushing until we got to this point. Let's look at this other comment. She says, when my son becomes of age, I want him to find a bride back home. He already hates, really dislikes the attitudes of little girls in American school. Me and my husband are tempted to send him to Sapporo, where our relatives are. Guys, I told you this was the future. I told you that what was going to end up happening is that parents are going to say, you know what? We're not going to risk it anymore. Our sons, when they want to find a little girl, they're gonna go overseas. I said you're gonna have these. It's not just gonna be men. It's also gonna be boys. You're gonna have these little boys, 13-year-old boys. They're gonna have their little girlfriends over in the Philippines or Slovenia or South Africa. And when holiday rolls around, when it's winter holiday, winter recess, or summertime, the parents are gonna have to figure out how to bring their kids overseas to go visit their little girlfriends, because they're not going to risk allowing them to be in a relationship with a Westerner. These young girls don't realize what they've lost. Modern day women have cost them everything. They've done such a bad job. They've committed such acts that now men and boys are walking away. And it's sad because a lot of these young girls, just like modern women, will now end up isolated. And what are they going to find themselves with? Literally nothing. What's happening right now? Men are walking around saying that modern women in Western society have that masculine energy. And they know it. Women literally started boasting, "Oh, I've got my masculine energy. I've got my masculine energy. I'm more masculine than feminine." And they thought that this is how they were going to win. The power of a woman has always come from her femininity, not from masculinity. The ability of a woman to control men and to get men to do what she wants them to do does not come from masculinity. It comes from femininity. And it's crazy because older women know this. If you look at Donald Trump's ex-wife, Ivana, she actually talked about this. She was a very feminine woman. And she was in charge of one of Donald's casinos. She talked about what it was like to be the boss at the casino. And she talked about how she increased the profits at the casino. And she explained that she led from a place of femininity. And she was asked, well, how do you get them to do what you want them to do? And she said that I'm still feminine. I always got what I wanted regardless, but I did it using my femininity. A lot of women don't understand that it's easier to catch a man with honey than it is to catch a man with shame. Using feminine charm, a woman can get almost anything she wants out of a man. It's sad. It's beyond sad. Women have had the algorithm for a long time. And this is what they've done. And what modern women have done is unfortunate because girls will now have much more difficult futures as a result of this. And what are they teaching these young women? They're teaching them that platforms like OnlyFools are a viable future. Setting up YouTube channels dedicated to teaching young women, how to go down this path. What's happening now is that as soon as these girls turn 18, within days they're opening up an OnlyFools. And they don't realize that they're selling their futures for instant gratification in the present. And it's not just that they'll struggle to find a good man with values and integrity. Oh no, it's much more difficult than that. Because once you've gone on the platform, your name is now mixed up. You won't be able to get certain jobs. Want to be a social worker? You may be eliminated from that. Want to get a job working for the government? You can forget about that. Because your name is now mixed up in that. Even a lot of law firms will not work with you if you've been on that platform. Because that platform, the money that's made on that platform is tied up into some very bad things. But modern women don't care because all they want to do is get their bag at all costs. They don't care about their futures. They don't care about anything. They think that they're going to be able to do OnlyFools at 60 years old. They don't realize that everyone has an expiration date. And they think that they're high value being on this platform because they have a bunch of simps that are worshiping them and telling them how amazing and special they are and wonderful they are and showing them all this respect. That's not respect. It's a disgrace and it's sad what's occurred. But modern women chose this for themselves. I just feel bad for young girls that are growing up right now and they're walking into this future that was shaped by the poor decisions of the women that came before them. It is truly sad. It is truly sad. I've already said it. You're gonna have these little 13-year-old boys having their little girlfriends over in the Philippines or Thailand or Japan or even China, in countries like Slovenia, if they want Slovenia or Romania or South Africa. And when they want to see their little girlfriend, mom and dad are going to have to save money up, put money aside so they can fly the kids over to see each other. It's going to be hard. This is the reality. Guys, I said this once and I'll say it again. Right now, the passport movement, that's what it is. The passport movement, men walking away. Right now, it's a trend. But trends become normalities and normalities become traditions. Right now, we are moving from the phase of trend to normality. In 10 years, it will be a normality, and it will be a normality moving from a normality to a tradition. In 20 years, it will be a tradition. "10 years from now, people will ask, how did American women in Western society end up in such terrible state when you have such record high numbers of women who are homeless, women are living below the poverty line, women are struggling, women who are childless and single?" A universal basic income will not rescue anyone. Only the rich will get richer. The universal UBI will only make the rich richer. If you give a man a UBI, the universal basic income, give a man $1,000 a month. Men are already walking away from Western society. You give some pastor, bro, $1,000 a month, you're just doing him a bigger favor. He takes that over to the Philippines, and he's just gonna chill. It's $12,000 a year. So if he's doing remote work and pulling in an income, because these are the dudes with bread, the most guys going to the Philippines have at least $10,000 to $20,000, right? And they're doing remote work, so they have some income coming in. So you give this guy $12,000 in UBI, all of that money is going in the bank. So you're just going to basically be stuffing cash into the pockets of men who are walking away from Western society. Most women can't do the passport system because they're caught, the way that they live is just not compatible with it. While these men will go overseas and, have nice houses, have their wives and everything else, these women can't do the passport system because they're not going to find husbands. Not going to find husbands overseas that are going to provide for them and take care of them. These are women who say that they believe that cooking, cleaning, nurturing children is an act of servitude. They believe that taking care of one's children and one's family, providing empathy and sympathy and kindness, is emotional labor. These women are not fit to be wives and mothers. When men go over to the Philippines and these other countries, what they do is they basically cut away the fat, the things that they don't need. Some guys don't have AC, for example. They have a nice house, they have everything that they need, but they may not have a car. They might have a motorbike, right? They basically have what they need to survive and even thrive. But in America, American women, a car is not enough. Just having a car is not enough. All right? Yo, you have a Hyundai? I don't want to drive. I don't want to be with a man who drives a Hyundai. This is their attitude. Her attitude is, this is their attitude. So they could never live overseas. Their expectations would be too high. They will end up staying in America, eating their what they call medieval peasant meals, which are crackers, cheese, grapes, and maybe and slices of ham. And there's some of you in the comments like angry. I love eating that. That's so good, bro. That's not a meal. Imagine eating that all the time. You guys, you're not being realistic. All right, that's how they're living. That's no way to live. That's how these women are going to be living, and they're going to be living this way and believe. And as they're living this way, they're believing that they still deserve millionaires, billionaires, and trillionaires. And they only know one way of doing things. They can't go backwards. They were not raised to be wives and mothers, to do cooking and cleaning and housework. They don't like doing these things. Listen to their voices and how deep their voices are compared to foreign women. They're in their masculine. They have that masculine energy. These women won't have anything to offer. They've already said it. They say that any man that says, what does a woman have to offer is not a real man, because what a woman has to offer is her presence, because she is the table. There's no relationship without her. So basically, what women are going to be now, they're going to be an empty table with nothing on it. And they're still going to believe that they deserve everything. I saw a video, this was years ago, of a woman who was living in essentially a storm drain. A homeless woman living in a storm drain. And she was there saying like that she deserves this wonderful man and all this other stuff. And the guy that was interviewing her, he checked her. He goes, Olivia, you're living in a storm drain. And she broke down in tears. And he's like, you're living in a storm drain. What are you talking about? You won't settle for just any guy? Look where you live. Guys, it's an extraordinary form of delusion. And men are wisening up. They're going to be those opportunistic ladies that are going to try to look for a plan D guy that they have no interest in, desperate, to help get them off the street. And all those plan D guys are going to be in the Philippines, Thailand, Romania, Africa, living their best lives. And guys, something that happens to a lot of men when they go overseas, because the cost of living is so different, these guys save so much money. There are stories of a guy who went to the Philippines, and he's in the US, he was struggling financially, and he had I think bouts of homelessness and so forth. He went to the Philippines and he passed away in the Philippines. But when they found him, he was actually living somewhere. He had a place to live. He had furniture. He had food. He had possessions. And he also had savings. He passed away in the Philippines with savings. What do you guys think about this? Asian women are now hoarding Western men because modern women have nothing to offer them. I want to hear your thoughts on this, guys. So let's talk about it. There's shout out to Mayumi one more time. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to NWA. Men walking away, and cheers.